What if just one sentence from you could live rent-free in her mind all night? Not because you said she's beautiful, but because you said something that hit her soul. Most men use compliments to impress, but the rare few, they use them to ignite desire. In this video, you'll discover 3 forbidden compliments that make her fantasize about you long after you've said goodnight. These aren't pickup lines. They're psychological triggers, crafted to bypass logic and hit where attraction really lives. In emotion, mystery, and imagination. If you're tired of being forgettable, if you want to leave her wondering, craving, and chasing, say these words right, and she'll never see you the same way again. Let's dive into the first compliment that flips the power dynamic instantly. Number 1 compliment. 1. There's something about you that drives me crazy, but I can't quite figure it out. There's a moment, rare, electric, when a man looks at a woman and doesn't just see her, but feels her. Not just her beauty, not just her smile, but something beneath the surface. Something that pulls at him, like gravity. He doesn't fully understand it, and that's what makes it dangerous. Now imagine putting that feeling into words, not in a cheesy way, not in the usual flurry of surface-level praise, but in a single line that wraps mystery and desire in one slow, burning sentence. There's something about you that drives me crazy, but I can't quite figure it out. This isn't just a compliment. It's a psychological grenade. It doesn't explode immediately. It lands softly, silently. And then, hours later, when she's alone in her room, that line starts to echo. You see, most men go for the obvious. You're beautiful. You look amazing in that dress. You have the prettiest eyes. Nice? Sure. Safe? Definitely. But those words don't linger. They're disposable, recycled, forgotten. Because what you're doing when you say those things is giving her a compliment that every other guy has already given her. And you know what that tells her? That you see her the same way everyone else does. But when you drop a line like, there's something about you that drives me crazy, but I can't quite figure it out, you flip the script. Now you're not saying she's attractive. You're saying she's intriguing. You're not reducing her to her looks. You're elevating her to a mystery. And women, they live for that mystery. Because once they hear that line, they start to spiral in the best way. They'll replay your words in their head, wonder what exactly you meant, ask themselves what it is about them that you can't figure out. And that wondering, that's the hook. That's what keeps you alive in her mind long after the night is ended. The true power of this compliment isn't just in the words, it's in the delivery. You don't blurt it out. You don't force it. You wait. You watch the moment unfold. Maybe she's laughing, tilting her head back, touching your arm. Maybe the tension's building and you feel that magnetic shift in the air. That's when you strike. Not with intensity, but with subtlety. You lower your voice just a touch. You lean in, not too much, just enough. And then you say it, deliberately, softly, like it slipped out without your permission. And then you pull back. You don't explain. You don't chase. You leave it hanging there like smoke in the air. That's what makes her obsess. Not the words, the silence after the words. And here's what Stoicism teaches us about that moment. It's all about composure, about restraint. Any man can feel something, but a man who can hold that feeling, who can control his reaction even in the heat of desire, that man is magnetic. That man doesn't just attract, he commands attention. Because he's not desperate, he's not reactive. He feels deeply, but he remains centered, rooted. And that contrast of being stirred but not shaken is what makes women spiral. Because now you're not just a man, you're a mystery wrapped in control. She'll pretend she's not thinking about it. She'll act like it didn't land. But the moment she's alone, she's spiraling, replaying it over and over. Your tone, your timing, your restraint. She'll wonder what it meant, what it revealed, and what it didn't reveal. And here's where it gets powerful. That single sentence, there's something about you that drives me crazy, but I can't quite figure it out, becomes a loop in her mind, a riddle she's now desperate to solve. Because women don't just want attention, they want to be felt. They want to feel like they stir something primal in a man that he can barely contain. And when you can give her that feeling without losing control, you become unforgettable. Not just in her eyes, but in her body, in the goosebumps on her skin, in the way she bites her lip when she thinks of you, in the heat she feels at 2 a.m. when she replays that moment, alone under her sheets. So use this line wisely. Use it when the moment's right, when the tension's thick and the air's humming. And then walk away. Let her sit in it. Let her feel it. Because that's how obsession starts. That's how you go from being just another guy to being the one she fantasizes about when the world goes quiet. Number 2, there's a moment, a flicker really, when everything between you and her shifts. It could be during a laugh, a playful glance, or something in the way she tilts her head and looks at you like she's daring you to say what's really on your mind. That's when you let it slip. Not like it was planned, not like it was rehearsed, but like it bubbled up from something deeper. You lock eyes, lower your voice just enough for the world to fall away and say, I probably shouldn't say this, but damn, you're dangerous. And right there, everything changes. You see, most men never touch this level. They stay in the safe zone. They say she's pretty, sweet, maybe even sexy. But those compliments are currency she's been paid 1,000 times by men who never left a trace in her memory. But dangerous? That hits different. That word doesn't just flatter. It unsettles. It awakens something. Because now she's not just attractive, she's a threat. To what? To your self-control, your logic, your carefully cultivated stoic calm. And that is the fantasy. Why? Because every woman, no matter how composed, how put together, how independent, wants to feel like she has that kind of impact, that she could undo a man who normally keeps himself composed. It's not about control, it's about effect. She wants to feel powerful. And when a stoic man, calm, centered, emotionally reserved, tells her she's dangerous, it's like handing her the keys to a part of you no one else has reached. And here's the truth that most men never understand. Women don't fantasize about compliments. They fantasize about moments. Moments when time slowed, when the tension in the air got too thick to ignore, when something was said that couldn't be unsaid. And this compliment, it creates that moment. But only if you say it right. It's not a line. It's not some Instagram caption. It's a confession cloaked in mystery, a surrender without losing your center. That's where Stoicism comes in. Because the power isn't in the words, it's in the restraint, in the delivery. You don't throw it out like a challenge. You whisper it like a slip-up, like something you're trying not to say but couldn't help. That subtle shake of the head, that almost smile as if you're realizing in real time that she's messing with your equilibrium. That's the art. And the beauty of this line? It flips the dynamic. Most men are chasing her, complimenting her, hoping for a smile, a number, a chance. But when you say she's dangerous, you're the one evaluating her. And she feels it. Suddenly she's on the edge. Not because you're being cruel, but because you've made her wonder. What about me makes him say that? Did I cross a line? Am I in control here? Or is he? That uncertainty is the spark, and it spreads. She might laugh it off, tease you, roll her eyes. But inside, she's spiraling, replaying your tone, your face, the pause after you said it, wondering if you really meant it, or if you were just playing, wondering if you'll say something like that again, or if she just saw a rare glimpse of something real. And that's where emotional imprinting happens. You didn't flatter her, you impacted her. You didn't chase, you disrupted. And in a world of men who try too hard to please, a man who calmly reveals that he's being undone, just a little, by a woman's presence, that man becomes unforgettable. But here's where discipline matters. You don't explain. When she asks, "What do you mean by that?" You don't unfold your heart like an open book. You smirk, you shake your head slowly, and you say, "You know exactly what I mean." And then you move on. You change the subject. Like the compliment never even happened. That exit, that effortless withdrawal, is where the obsession starts. Because now she's the one left in the emotional fog. She's the one wondering. She's the one chasing. And you remain composed, still, silent, but not cold, not distant, just centered, the eye of the storm. A stoic man doesn't need to say much. His presence is felt more in what he holds back than in what he gives. And when you give just enough, just a flicker of vulnerability, just a glimpse of desire, you become a riddle. And women, they chase riddles, not to solve them, but to feel the thrill of the unsolved. So the next time you feel that shift in the air, the moment when things get charged, when the conversation turns electric, don't waste it with a compliment she's heard before. Look her in the eye, smile like you're slightly losing your grip, and say, I probably shouldn't say this, but damn, you're dangerous. Then let silence do the rest, because that silence, that's when she starts imagining what might happen if you ever stopped holding back. Number 3, there are words a man says because he wants to impress, and then there are words he says because he can't hold them back. This compliment, the one you only whisper when the air is thick and every nerve in your body feels like it's on fire, is not a performance. It's a confession, quiet, raw, undeniably human. You have no idea how hard it is to look at you and not touch you. That's not just a line, it's surrender, wrapped in restraint. And when spoken by a man of composure, a man who normally keeps himself in check, it's earth-shattering. Because a stoic man losing just a sliver of control, that's unforgettable. Most men are eager to please. They fire compliments like arrows in the dark, hoping one hits. You're beautiful. You're stunning. That dress looks amazing on you. Nice, safe, but forgettable. Because those words don't shake her. They don't get under her skin. But when a man, measured, composed, grounded, looks at her with heat in his eyes, his voice just barely steady, and admits, it's hard not to touch you right now. She doesn't just hear it, she feels it. Deep, physical, emotional, psychological. It flips something inside her. Because here's the truth that most will never admit. Women don't want men who are reckless with desire. They want men who have desire, but who also have the strength to hold it back. That's where the tension lives. That's what keeps her up at night. Knowing that you want her desperately even, but that you're choosing not to act on it, not yet. That kind of restraint, that's not weakness. That's power. When you say it, you don't say it like a pickup line. You say it like it slipped, like it fought its way out of your mouth despite your better judgment. You lock eyes with her, maybe your hand brushes hers, maybe your breath catches slightly, and in that suspended moment, you say it, low, calm, deliberate. You have no idea how hard it is to look at you and not touch you. And then you stop. You don't reach for her. You don't follow through. You just let the moment breathe. That space, that silence, that restraint is what ignites her imagination. Because now she's not just wondering what it would feel like if you touched her. She's craving it. Not because you begged, not because you tried too hard, but because you didn't. You let her feel the weight of your desire, but held the line. And that is rare. Most men cross the line too soon. They don't know the art of waiting, of holding space, of building tension like a slow-burning fire. But you, if you're stoic, you know better. You understand that anticipation is more powerful than the act, that the space between what is and what could be is where obsession lives. And now, she's not thinking about what you said. She's feeling it, replaying it, wondering how close you came to giving in, wondering what would have happened if you didn't hold back. And the more she thinks about it, the more she wants to know what it feels like when you finally stop resisting. This is emotional mastery. This is control, not over her, but over yourself. And that, ironically, is what gives you power over her mind. Because women don't fantasize about men who throw themselves at them. They fantasize about men who could, but don't. Not yet. Not until the moment is right. Not until she's the one leaning in. And here's the beauty of it. It's not about manipulation. It's about authenticity. You're not faking desire. You're revealing it, just not all at once. You're showing her that she has an effect on you, that something about her, her presence, her energy, her essence, is making it hard for you to maintain the stoic calm you've built. And that's the compliment that lives in her bones. That's the compliment that doesn't fade the next day, that lingers in her mind when she's alone, wondering if she felt it too, or if she just imagined it. Later that night, when she's lying in bed, phone dark, eyes staring at the ceiling, she'll feel the ghost of that moment all over again. She'll remember the heat in your voice, the restraint in your hands, the way you didn't touch her, and her body will react as if you had. That's the paradox. You didn't cross the line, and that made her wish you had. So the next time you're sitting with her, maybe at a bar, maybe on a walk, maybe somewhere quiet where no one else is watching, don't reach too soon. Don't speak too quickly. Just feel the energy build. Let the silence get heavy. Let the tension stretch like a tightrope between you. And when the time is right, when it's just the two of you, suspended in that unspoken knowing, look her in the eye and say it. You have no idea how hard it is to look at you and not touch you. Then do nothing. Say nothing. Let it hang. Because that silence, that stillness, that's where you become the man she can't stop thinking about. Life isn't always about saying more. It's about meaning more. In relationships, as in life, restraint can often speak louder than action. A well-timed word, a calm pause, or choosing not to act in a moment of desire. These aren't signs of weakness, but of strength. True stoicism isn't about cold detachment. It's about emotional discipline. It's the power to feel deeply without being ruled by emotion. This approach builds lasting respect, not just fleeting affection. Whether in love, family, or friendships, people remember not how much we said, but how we made them feel. And often the most unforgettable moments are born from what we held back, not what we gave away. For those of us who've lived long enough to know that time is precious, the lesson is simple. Control isn't the absence of feeling, it's the mastery of it. And in mastering ourselves, we often become the anchor others quietly seek.